Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum everyone. So these days we are looking at priority queues. Priority queues is the last data structure of our course, and in the last lecture we looked at some motivating examples for priority queues. We looked at how we can implement priority queues with different existing data structures, and then we started with um, different tree terminologies, and then finally when we concluded our last lecture we started the topic of binary heap, which is yet another data structure, binary heap, and with the help of the binary heap we will implement the priority queues. So in the last lecture we also saw that to implement a priority queue the basic operations are: number one, insertion. Number two, delete minimum. So with the help of insertion, I would be allowed to insert elements at any time in the priority queue. And with the help of the delete minimum, I would be able to remove an item or a data item whose key has the smallest value. So here in our priority queues, we will assign priorities to our data items. So let's continue our lecture. Binary heap. So binary heap, like binary search trees, they have properties. These two properties must be satisfied simultaneously by a binary heap. So last time we looked at the structure property, and today we will begin with the heap order property. But let's revisit our structure property concept. So structure property is a binary heap or a heap is a complete binary tree. Priority queues will be using a binary heap, and for a binary heap the first property that has to be fulfilled is that a binary heap or a heap is a complete binary tree. A complete binary tree of height h will have between 2 raised to power h and 2 raised to power h plus 1 minus 1 nodes. And from this it implies that the height of a complete binary tree is the floor of log of n, which is in other words big O, or upper bounded by log of n. So this is the structure property. To illustrate the structure property with the help of an example, last time we saw that if I have numbers like 3, 9, 5, 14, 10, 6, 8, 17, 15, 13, 23, 12. So let's say these are the numbers that I have, and I want to construct a binary heap. So I start with the first value, the first data item, 3. 3 is the key value or the data item 3. Then I want to insert 9. 9 will be inserted on the left hand side of 3. So 9 becomes the left child of 3. Then if I have another number 5, 5 will become the right child of 3. Then I have another number 14. 14 becomes the left child of 9. Then I have another number 10. 10 becomes the right child of 9, and so on. So this strategy, if you follow this strategy, we call it the breadth first order strategy. We place the entries depth-wise. So we visit the nodes from left to right depth-wise. So starting from 0 depth, there is the first node, there is the root node. So you place 3 at the root, and then 9, then 5, then 14, then 10, then 6 is inserted, then 8 is inserted, then we have on the last level, we have node number 17, node number 15, 13, 23, 12, and these are the leaf nodes. So basically when you insert the numbers in this fashion, they can be stored in an array. So if you look at just below the tree, we have drawn an array and in the array we have numbers 3, 9, 5, 14, 10, 6, and so on. So the binary heap, if this structure is followed, this breadth-first order structure is followed, if you traverse it in this way, you can actually construct an array which is holding all the keys of your binary heap. So things have become very simple here. If I want to add another node in this binary heap, 19 will become the right child of 6. So simply I need to insert 19 in the very next available location, as you can see on this slide. So if I want to remove a given node, let's say 12, which is the rightmost node that will get deleted. So simply if you want to get rid of 12, remove 12 from the array, whereas the last element will be removed. So this is how we can insert and remove elements. Things have become very simple. So let's move on. Now, based on this structure property, for any element in array position I, the left child is in position 2i. For any element whose position is, let's say, I, if you want to locate its left child, simply go to position 2i. And in case you want to locate its right child, go to 2i plus 1 and you can find its right child, right? So for example, if I want to find, if I is 2, if you look at I is 2, so at location number 2 in the array, we find node number B. So if you want to find the left child of B, B's left child will be located at 2 times I, where I is equal to 2, and this gives you the value 4. So if you look into this, if you look into the array at position number 4, you can find D. D is the left child of B. If I'm interested in locating the right child of B, so B's position I is 2, so 2i plus 1, that's going to give you 5, and in the array we can see that E is positioned at index 5. If you want to find the parent of B, where B's index value was 2, so 2 divided by 2 is going to give you 1, integer division, right? 1. So if you look at 1, you can find that that the parent of B is A, and it's located in position number 1 of the array. So you can see here, if you look at this example, we don't need any pointer storage. So simple array. All the elements can be stored in a simple array. So no pointer manipulations are required. So things become faster, obviously. Now if I'm interested in calculating 2i, 2i is very simple to calculate. What I need to do is I need to shift a number towards left once, and the number is multiplied by 2. So for example, if you have 2, the binary of 2 is 0, 0, 1, 0. The binary equivalent of 2 is 0, 0, 1, 0. If you shift this number towards left once, I angle bracket left 1 is equal to, what will be the answer if I have shifted 0, 0, 1, 0 towards left once? That means the answer will be 0, 1, 0, 0. So on the left hand side I will insert a 0, and each value will be shifted towards left once. So the new number that I will have after I shift 0, 0, 1, 0 towards left once is 0, 1, 0, 0. A new 0 has been inserted at position bit number 0, and all the remaining bits have been shifted towards left. What has happened to the last bit? To the last bit value, the value has been kicked out from, it has been thrown out from the array. So now we are left with 0, 1, 0, 0. So this gives you decimal equivalent 4. So 2 has been converted into 4 by shifting the number towards left ones. Now if I'm given with 2, 0, 0, 1, 0, and you shift 0, 0, 1, 0 towards right, what will happen? For the most significant bit, we will introduce a 0. So when you introduce a 0 and shift all the remaining bits towards right, the least significant bit will be thrown out of this array. So 0, 0, 0, 1 is my new number after I have shifted 0, 0, 1, 0 towards right. So 2 is now 1. 2 has become 1. So that means when you shift your numbers towards right, the numbers are divided by 2. So you can see on the last line in the red color, I shift I right angled 1 is equal to I over 2, the floor of it, right? So that means numbers will be shifted towards 2. Number when you shift the number towards right, the numbers are actually being divided by 2. And when you shift a number towards left, the number is being multiplied by 2. So that means multiplication and division have also become very fast. So the advantage of this structure property is that we don't need any pointer manipulations, and furthermore, when you want to multiply a number by 2 or you want to divide a number by 2, we can do so with the help of left shift operators and right shift operators. So let's move on. So this was the structure property. Now let's start with the heap order property. This is the second property. Only when a complete binary tree satisfies these two conditions, I will call it a binary heap. And this binary heap will be used to implement a priority queue. So the second property is called heap order property. So if you read the sentence, this property description, for every node X, the key in the parent of X is smaller than or equal to the key in X except for the root which has no parent. For every node X. So let's say X is 2. So on the left hand side, you can see when X is equal to 2, look at the children of 2. The key in the parent X, which is 2, should be smaller than or equal to the key in X, right? Except for the root, which has no parent. So you can see that the parent of 2 has a value smaller. If X is 2, the parent of X is 1 and it's obviously smaller than key value. If X is 4, then look at the parent of 4. It is 2, and obviously the parent of X, which is 4, is smaller than X, which is 4. Similarly, you can say if X is equal to 3, the parent of 3 is smaller than X itself. If I consider X to be 5, the parent of X, which is 5, the parent of X, which is equal to 5, and the parent of 5 is 1, is obviously smaller than 5. So on the left hand side, we can see that this binary tree, this complete binary tree, is satisfying the heap order property as well. So we can call it a binary heap. So on the left hand side, the complete binary tree satisfies the heap order property. Now let's move on to the right hand side figure. If you look at the right hand side figure, it's a complete binary tree. It's a complete binary tree. right? It's a complete binary tree. But does this complete binary tree satisfy this heap order property? No. Why? The heap order property is not being satisfied here. Why? If I see, where's the problem? Look at when x is equal to 2, the parent of x, which is equal to 2, and the parent of 2 is 4, is it smaller than 2? No. So that means this is violating this heap order property. So if a complete binary tree violates the heap order property, it is not a binary heap or a heap. It's a complete binary tree, but it's not a heap. So on this slide, we have shown two different complete binary trees, and the left hand figure is satisfying the heap order property. That's why it becomes a binary heap. But the complete binary tree, which has been depicted on the right hand side, is violating this aforementioned property, so it is not a binary. So I hope that all of you are clear about this difference, right? So we can have a complete binary tree which does satisfy the structure property, but if it violates the heap order property, it is not a binary heap. So a binary heap is that complete binary tree which will also satisfy this heap order property. So hopefully this is clear, the difference is clear to all of you. So now let's move on. What will be the consequence of this property, the heap order property? The consequence of this heap order property is that the minimum element can always be found at the root node. So the root node is always containing that value which is the minimum, right? So this is just because of this property. This heap order property makes the minimum element to be located at the root. That's why this binary heap can also be called as the minimum binary heap. We can also call it the minimum binary heap. So let's move on. Now what are the basic heap operations? The basic heap operations are: number one, insert. How would I be able to insert a new element in a binary heap? So insert. To insert an element into the heap, what we will do is, first of all, we will create a hole in the next available location. When you have created this hole, what we will do is, we will try to place X in that hole. If it does not violate the heap order property, we are done with it. We have successfully inserted our new element X. But if X violates the heap order property, then what we need to do is, we need to slide the element that is in the hole's parent node into the hole. So if there's a violation of the heap order property, bring the parent node of this X into the hole, and thus this will bubble the hole up towards the root. And we keep continuing this process until we find the correct location of X. So when you have found the correct location of X, then you can insert X in that hole, in that bubble. So let's illustrate the working of insert with the help of an example. So once again, let me go through these steps once again. So you want to insert a new element into the heap. First of all, create a hole in the next available location. Once that hole has been created, then we can try to insert our X in the hole. If there is no violation, The heap or if there is no violation of the heap order property, then we have successfully inserted X. Otherwise, what we need to do is we need to bring the parent node of this hole into the hole, right? And thus bubbling the hole up towards the root. And this process will continue until we have found the correct location of X. So here we have. Let's start with this example. This is an illustration. So if you look at the given binary heap in the left hand side, that on the top side of the figure, we can see there's a binary heap 7, 9, 8, 17, 16, 14, 10, 20, 18. Now I want to insert a new number. So follow the arrow, the red color arrow. You can see what we did was we created a hole, the dashed line hole, right? The dashed line hole you can see is the newly available position. So we try to insert 4 in that location. If you try to insert 4 in the location, does it violate the heap order property? Yes, the heap order property is violated. So what should we do then? Move on towards the right hand side, the top figure of the next column. So what we are doing, we are comparing 4 against 16, and we find that the heap order property is being violated. So we need to bring the parent of this whole into this whole, right? So you can see on the next in the next diagram, you can see that 16 was brought down. If you try to insert 4 in this hole, would it still violate the property, the heap order property? Yes, since 4 is smaller than 9, that means the heap order property is being violated. So if it's being violated, what we need to do is I have to bring 9 into the hole. So you can see in the last diagram of the second column, we can see that 9 has been brought down into the hole. Now can I insert 4 into this hole? No. Why? Because when you compare 4 against 7, you see that 4 is smaller than 7. So that means this is not the correct position. This is not the correct hole for 4. So we need to bring down 7 into the hole, and 4 will become the root. So this is how we can insert a new element into a given binary. So 4's correct position has been found, and then we have inserted 4 into its correct position. So this is the updated binary heap after inserting 4. This strategy is called percolate up. We call it percolate up. So let me um, look at the strategy once again. So if you want to insert a new node, if you want to insert a new data item, what you do is you create a hole, try to insert it into that position. If there's no violation in the heap order property, that means we have successfully inserted our new element X. But if there is a violation of the heap order property, that means what will happen? You are percolating, you are moving the bubble in the upward direction, right? So we call it the percolate up. The strategy is known to be percolate up, and the bubble will move in the upward direction towards the root. So you keep on finding the correct location of your X. Once you find it, then you can insert X there. So this strategy, what is the time complexity of this strategy? The time complexity of this strategy is upper bounded by the height of a binary tree, and the height of a binary tree is log of n. height of the binary tree is log of n. So this is the time complexity of this insert operation. Let's move on to the next operation. So insert was a basic operation of the priority queue, and the priority queue is being implemented through a binary heap. So now let's look at the second example, the delete minimum. The delete minimum. So delete minimum, what what are the steps that we will follow when you want to delete the minimum element? So obviously, since this is a binary heap whose minimum key value is located at the root, so you need to delete the root. But obviously, can I delete the root? I cannot delete the root. We can get rid of that root value, but we need to find its suitable replacement. So what is this possible suitable replacement? Can the last element x be placed in the hole? If it can, that means we are successfully done in deleting the root node. But if we cannot, then we need to slide the smaller of the hole's children into the hole, thus pushing the hole down one level. We will then repeat this until x can be placed in a suitable hole. So this is the delete minimum operation. This is how we carry out the delete minimum operation. Once again, the steps are delete the root, and obviously since we cannot delete the root, we need to find a suitable replacement. And the suitable replacement is slide the smaller of the hole's children into the hole, thus pushing the hole down one level. Repeat this until x can be placed in the hole. To understand the working of a delete minimum operation, let's look at an example. So here we are. On the left hand side, we are given with a priority queue. If you look at the priority queue, the elements are 3, 7, 8, 9, 16, 14, 10, 17, 18, 20. Now when I want to remove one of the elements, we learned earlier that the rightmost node will be removed. So when you move from the left hand side figure to the right hand side figure, you can see that 20 was removed, because this is the next rightmost leave node that is available for removal. So whenever you want to remove it, whenever we want to remove a node from the complete binary tree, the rightmost leave node will be removed. So in this case, the rightmost leave node is having a value of 20. So that means when you move from the left figure to the right figure, you can see that 20 has disappeared. The whole of 20 has disappeared. And actually, we have removed 3 from the root and try to replace 20 in that place. So let's move on. So what we find is, when you compare 20 against the two children, and the two children are 7 and 8, 7 being the smallest of the two children, then what I will do is I will shift 7 to place it in the root node, and 20 will come down. Is the heap order property still being violated?